Hail Bird of Prey 5. Hail Karuga.
Kapla!
Kapla.
I'm going to take this opportunity, however, to suggest that we all hail Karuga. That's all I'm saying.
Forgive me, Doctor. I'm receiving a number of distress calls. I don't doubt it.
Y'all remember to tip your waitresses. Have a mighty fine night.
If you come in peace, surrender or be destroyed. If you're here to make war, we surrender.
Both good. The important thing is I'm meeting new people.
When the appointed hour arrives, the Marauders will deactivate their cloaking devices and begin transporting Klingon shock troops directly to the landing zone.
Landing zone? Where? Tell me.
Why not? Your feeble weapons will be useless against us. We will kill all your males and take your females to mate with.
All right. Now the Federation's taking over, whether you like it or not. You people, you've been running this planet like a piecework factory. From now on, it's going to be under one roof. You're going to run it like a business. And that means you're going to make a profit.
Look at these 3 words written larger than the rest, with a special pride never written before or since. Tall words, proudly saying, "We the people."
Hi, I'm Nicole DeBoer. I played Lieutenant Ezri Dax on DS9, and I welcome you to Bird o' Prey 5 channel. Hail Karoga.
Hello world, it's Bird o' Prey 5 Kapla, and welcome to Bed Life for Friday, Star Trek Day, September 8th, 2023. Oh my God. TBIF indeed. TBIF. And thank you to LDG with his 2 gifted memberships so far. This stream already, two gifted memberships. We had Bradley Briggs and Gorilla's Random Thoughts become members thanks to LDG. And John Araki, thank you so much, John Araki, with a 99-cent super poop emoji super sticker. Apply, John Araki. So, Richie Poole was first in the chat with an alpaca. Welcome, Richie. He says, happy birthday, Star Trek. Because today was the day the original series premiered for the first time in the country, September 8th. Mama Bray claims to remember it well. No, just a joke. Richie Poole puts in Mama Pray, Sisso Pray, Nephew Pray, and the sassy emoji. Yvette says, good evening, Bird and everyone. Good evening, so lovely. Yvette. John Araki says, aloha, world. Dave G. Sound says, hot damn. That was fun. Hail, Karoga. Indeed, hail, Karoga. Captain Phantom Nerd says, hello, hail on Karoga. Thank you, Captain. Jazz reads a Star Trek Day. Does that mean we are getting Bird o' Prey 5's top episodes of Star Trek streamed after Dear Bops? No, it does not. Jedi Bill says, Kapla, Brother Warrior, Bird o' Prey 5, and hail, Karoga. Thank you, Jedi Bill. LDG at hashtag Free the Net Waves. Welcome, LDG. Bradley Briggs says, sup, y'all. And then gets his free membership thanks to LDG's first gift. Bradley Briggs says, thanked LDG. Gorilla says, Kapla, hope your day is going good, says Gorilla. Gorilla, let me tell you about how today started. So, a little after 7 a.m., I still have my ventilator on for the night. And I tell Mama Pray I'll be getting up soon to give her the courtesy so Mama Pray can get up and get her day started while I'm still not quite necessarily busy needing things. Give her a couple of minutes. And she takes Sassy out. And next thing I hear from Mama Pray is, oh my God, Mama Pray hears what she believes to be a neighbor across the street who's an older woman who, to my thought, lived alone. And Mama Pray says she hears the woman yelling, help me, or something. I need help, something to that effect. Now, Mama Pray doesn't want to leave me alone, nor should she, and not knowing what the situation might be over there, I don't want her to leave me alone necessarily either. So I call 911. I tell them my neighbor is begging for help, but I can't go over myself because of my wheelchair. And they will send the police to check it out. I will also send an ambulance too. It's an old woman. It's probably a medical issue. So the next thing, I'm waiting for at least 10 minutes. I think it was closer to 20 minutes. I would have figured somebody would have shown up very quickly. In the past, when I've had to call 911, like the fire department would show up, even though they weren't specifically requested, because the fire department is literally around the block, that they would just show up, just in case there was something they could do. Anyway, after like 20 minutes, an ambulance comes. We explain the situation. They go over and look, but they say they basically have to wait till the police come. Anyway, best I could tell, the ambulance waited around another 10 or 15 minutes and then left without the police ever coming. And I was very upset. I was very annoyed. And worse, I myself was feeling sick at that point, and I was having trouble. And LDG with a $5 super chat says, never thought I would ever say this in a positive light. I hope you have had some good passings lately, Bird. And then 3 poop emojis. LDG, I wouldn't say they were good passings. At first things were too hard, and now the pendulum has swung the other way, and now things are too loose. But we'll figure it out. We'll straighten that out. But anyway, so basically I was very worried for my neighbor, and I think it just hit me too much to realize that I had thought we had asked for help and nobody had come, and the people who were supposed to help her or stay and help left, and I was getting really, really sick, and I was really weak, and it's been really hot here, and it all just added together, and I couldn't catch my breath. I couldn't talk, and the next thing I know, I'm shaking in my hospital bed. I'm looking at Mama Pray, and I'm wondering, is this it? And I didn't know. And I told her, Mama Pray, you better call an ambulance. And I said this morning, I think I'm having a heart attack. And I honestly believed this. I honestly and truly believed it. I thought this was it. Well, the ambulance came back quickly. The same people who were here before. Also, a second ambulance came because the first ambulance was apparently an ambulance sent by New York City Fire Department, but they just come to check on you quickly. After they check on you, an actual EMT in an actual hospital ambulance comes, and they give you, in my case, they gave me an EKG, and they took some questions, and the 5 firemen. I thought, so the people that came via the fire department was like, I think it was 3 of them. Was there 5 of them?
It was 2 in the ambulance. There were 5 in a
Oh,
truck.
5 in a truck. Okay. So yeah, it was quite a few people came this morning. So yeah, it was 5 from the fire department, 2 from EMT. Anyway, the point being was I realized pretty quickly that it was unlikely I was having a heart attack. The EMTs did an EKG, and immediately the alarm was like gone. And he looked at me, and he's like, "So what do you want to do?" I'm like, "Well, what do you mean? What do I want to do?" I was like, I got to go to the hospital. I'm dying, aren't I? And he looks. I was like, am I not dying? And he looked at the stuff, and I was like, well, let me ask. You see what's going on. What do you think? And he like shakes his head, like, no. He's like, he didn't flat out say it, but I was like, do those things, do you see a problem? He's like, well, you have an issue. He's like, but nothing here to indicate a heart attack. And I was like, he's like, well, let me ask you this. He's like, where's the pain? And I was like, well, there is no pain. So I had no pain. And as it turned out, when I was giving him the symptoms, I realized the symptoms were much closer to a panic attack than heart attack. And after a couple minutes of him looking at me funny, when I admitted that there was no pain, I realized that there was no reason to go to the hospital. And yeah, so they left. Mama Pray and me were here, and Mama Pray was very happy that obviously I wasn't having a heart attack, but Mama Pray also was right. She thought I was being ridiculous. And hi, Mama Pray.
Hi. Yes, you left out that one little sentence when you said to me, I think I'm having a heart attack. I looked at you and said, where's the pain? You said, no pain. I said, you're not having a heart attack, but I'll call because I am not a doctor. And I called. I was very happy. And I did say to him, did he take his anxiety medication? And he said no. And he normally takes it very soon after he wakes up. Anyway, it was an interesting morning. I'm glad it worked out the way it did.
Yeah, and as you guys know, I've been feeling weak lately, and apparently, whatever that reason, it's not a heart attack. It's not a heart attack. They did the EKG, they did the test, and that was that. And the guy, he wasn't even hesitating. He was very happy that I was not headed to the hospital. He's like, "What are you going to do? You're going to go to the hospital? You're going to sit around there, and they're going to send you home anyway." So, yeah.
That ambulance came here and didn't want to.
Yeah, it was the first time an ambulance came here and didn't want to take me, which I don't know if this was just he was that good or he was that lazy, or Mom will probably thinks he was really good. And Jim's Landscape LLC, Commodore Productions, put out a link to Sleep Puppies video. John Street says a bird o dream. Dell Tashlin says, can I submit a request to discuss the complete lack of Prodigy in the Paramount Plus video supposedly celebrating 50 years of animated Trek? I did not watch the 50 years of animated Trek video yet, but yeah, we can discuss it. Obviously, they pulled Prodigy because they pulled Prodigy. They don't want to be reminded of a failure. Gorilla's Random Thoughts, thanks Pickles for the membership. And Dale Tashlin says, I use a motor chair and I have called 911 for other people's emergencies that I can't intervene due to disability. Yes, as have I. And it's no fun. Gorilla says, did Mama Pray check on her at least? No. Well, yes. But okay, well, it turned out the neighbor was fine. The ambulance driver who came the first time did admit he went over there. He rang the doorbell. She came right to the door. She was fine. So we have no idea who it was that Mama Pray heard screaming and begging for help. The neighbor on the other side of my house was absolutely fine. Other people in the neighborhood seemed fine. I really have no idea who this Mama Pray says sound like an old woman, and it's still a little bit scary because I heard it's something. I mean, don't get me wrong, somebody somewhere was yelling for help, but if they weren't around my house, I don't know how to help them. I mean, they could have been on the other side of the railroad track, which might as well just be a whole other state over there on the other side of the railroad tracks. I don't even know how the streets work over there. So who knows? Gorilla says, did anyone else's gas prices skyrocket 50 cents overnight? Not that I know of. Del Taslin says, gosh, that must have been truly scary. It was. Dave D. Sounds says, damn, Bob. Gorilla says, hopefully your day gets better. Dave G. Sounds says, we weren't allowed to say things directly like you're going to be okay to a patient. Things aren't as bad as they may be seen, is how he would phrase it. Yeah, I get it. I get it. LDG says, what happened to the old lady, Yvette? Asked Bird. Well, as far as we know, she was fine. She came out. Oh, you're going to interrupt again, Mama Bray? Okay. Schwario says, hello, you all. Sorry I'm late. Happy Star Trek Day. Kapla Schwario. And Mama Bray is here now.
Yes, I have to correct you again, son, because you didn't know this at all. When Bird became ill, the lady across the street lived alone. Since then, the last 14 years, her son lived with her for a few years, and apparently she's at least 20 years older than me. I know that for a fact. I've, spoken to her in the beginning, but in any case, she now has who I believe is her granddaughter living there and kind of takes care of her, or does take care of her. But she goes out. It's not that the woman is never alone. And I didn't see the granddaughter's car this morning. And that's what led me to believe she was alone. It was definitely her yelling. And as you may know, we live in a mostly Asian neighborhood. And our immediate neighbors really don't speak English as their primary language. So if they were in distress, I would be hearing yelling in a different language. And being this was in English and the voice was an older woman's voice, I took it to be her. I still believe it was her. Maybe her granddaughter was in the shower or something. By the time the ambulance got here and knocked on their door, and they left, of course, they didn't tell us at that point that she was okay. They just left. But it was the same people that were back here for Bird. And I said, I have to ask, did you, I know you can't tell me their health issue, but he said, no, we knocked on the door. Somebody answered and said everything was fine. So the old lady is fine. This old lady, on the other hand, it was a hectic morning, but all worked out well. Okay, now I interrupted you again. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Schwario says, Kapla Bird, hope you and family are doing well today.
We are now.
Joseph Dredd says they closed leases in the oil and gas leases in Alaska. Yes, I saw that. Very upsetting. And yeah, that's probably why gas prices shot up. And Antiderivative Jill with a $5 super chat says, happy Star Trek Day. Thank you for joining me for Star Trek 4. You rock. Thank you, Antiderivative Jill. I've been on Antiderivative Jill's panel this morning. She had a stream dedicated to Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home, which is not only the best Star Trek movie, in my opinion, it is the best movie of all time, in my opinion. And Antiderivative Jill feels the same way. Wonderful movie. And hey, why didn't Antiderivative Jill's alert show? Do I have to play it again? I think, was it paused? Let's see. Play alerts. Okay. Come on. Play alerts. I believe that there is a alert issue with StreamYard at the moment, which is unfortunate. But at some point, I guess it will be fixed. But in the meantime, I will read any super chats we get. Schwario says hello to you all. Sorry I'm late. Happy Star Trek Day. Jim's Landscape says hail to Gorilla. Mike Richards is in the house, says greetings from Columbus, Ohio. Greetings, Mike Richards. Judge Dredd says Kapla, bird of prey. 5 Kapla, Joseph. Dave G. Sound says, so she's 70 then. I would imagine she's a little older. Mama Price says she's at least 91. She's spoken with her about age. She's 20 years older than Mama Price. Jim's Landscape says Gorilla, Ohio. Gas price is $3.59, but was $3.65. And Dave G is complimenting Mama Frey. Dave G says gas is $3.89 for regular in the DC area. Dave G says the interview of Jill was lots of fun on her stream. Indeed. And on interview of Jill, she had a surprise guest besides me, a bigger surprise. I was shocked. All of a sudden, Robert Meyer Burnett came up on the panel. Now I had to be a nice person, and I even though Jill probably wouldn't have minded much, I had to not make a big deal over RMB's opinions on Star Trek Picard season 3. But it's fine, because today was a day to celebrate the voyage home, not a day to attack crappy Trek or other people's opinions to crappy Trek. So I was happy to be nice and not bring it up. But I don't know that I can do it again. So in the future, if you're going to have me on your panel and you're going to spring RMB up, I can't promise I can hold my tongue a second time. Schwager says, what? Alert's not working. No kissing Dax. Yeah, that's an unfortunate mess. But, you know, we can force a kissing Dax if we need to. So yeah, I gotta tell you, laying in my bed with strangers looking over you, and I was just after a while, and I realized that it was probably just a panic attack, and it was starting to pass. Then the EMT gets into a fight with a doctor over the phone. She's trying to get the all clear so she can leave, but they already had me wired up for the EKG. They push these leads onto me, which then had to be pulled off, and I'm very hairy, so they were very sticky, so it was very messy, very painful. Anyway, they're getting ready to leave, and apparently the doctor has to give the okay, and the doctor asked the woman, he's like, well, why did you give him an EKG? What was the initial complaint? And for some reason, she said, "Oh, I was complaining about a panic attack." I was not complaining about panic attack. I was complaining I was having a heart attack. And had she just said that, he would have been fine and they would have moved on. But instead of heart attack, she said panic attack. And he, instead of saying, "Are you sure you mean panic attack? Don't you mean heart attack?" Instead of saying that, he instead berates her for giving me an EKG for a panic attack. And she allows it to happen. And then they start like almost fighting. And I'm shaking my head. And there's all these people and they're all taking sides. And they're both wrong. They're both on the wrong side. She was wrong for not giving the correct answer. And he was wrong for being a dick. But eventually, they figured it out. Everybody ended up leaving, and I managed to make it through the morning. And it's honestly only now that I've been streaming for a while, and I don't know how much time I have left that I left to hang on today, because I've got to continue doing things for my own physical needs, that I'm starting to not feel great again. But otherwise, since they left this morning, it had been a fairly decent day. Blood pressure had started up very high in the morning, but it was down to normal last I checked, and I have to check again. Andrew Jill says, "I wouldn't have minded Bird, but I appreciate the consideration." I get it, Jill, but I knew you were short on time. Truth be told, I was short on time. It was not the day for me to sit somewhere for an hour and debate, and it wouldn't have been fair to him, because I'm sure he wasn't coming here expecting to have to defend, and he shouldn't have to defend every place he goes. You know, it's been long enough that he shouldn't have to expect to defend his Star Trek view on every stream he goes on. If he wants to do it on a specific panel to defend himself, that's up to him. But I'm not going to be the one who's like, gotcha. And no gotcha journalism here. Dave G says, "Yeah, it was a shock to open the stream and see RMB just sitting there chatting. Pretty damn cool. And also, I did notice Bird's deafening silence for what it was." Well, some of it was that I really didn't want to engage too much, but also, to be fair, Jill knew in the background that I had left for parts of the stream. I just had to leave for unrelated reasons. And Dell says, "I go to the hospital for a heart condition at least once a year. I always find those EKG stickers on me after I get home." Yeah, Mama Pray was finding them on me. I didn't even remember them putting them on. Like, oh my God, it hurt to pull them off. Very easy for them to put on. Okay. Right. Okay. Sorry, I'm playing with the alerts, and it doesn't appear that the alerts are coming back. Okay, let's go and check and sorry, we got one Dear Bop. Says, Dear Bop, it's Schwario. My favorite Star Trek TV series is Star Trek TNG. I like Patrick Stewart as Captain Picard. I like Commander Data. Patrick Stewart's opening, Space, The Final Frontier, gave me goosebumps in a good way. Happy Star Trek Day. Live long and prosper. Thank you, Mamo Pray. Schwario. Awesome, Schwario. I understand Captain Picard is the captain for many, many, many generations of people. It's funny, but, you know, Star Trek 4, the financial success that Star Trek 4 found at the box office was one of the things that really helped along Star Trek The Next Generation to be a thing. If it hadn't, if Star Trek 4 had failed at the box office, it's very unlikely that Star Trek The Next Generation would have been created. And it's fun to think about how what I believe to be the best, not only the best Trek movie, but the best movie of all time, really helped give birth to The Next Generation. And The Next Generation, love it or hate it, brought about the rest of the Trek universe. Without The Next Generation, there would certainly have been no DS9. Without DS9, there'd been no Voyager. Without Voyager, there'd been no Enterprise. And well, I probably had there been no Enterprise, there would have been more Trek. But it got us quite a few more movies and quite a few TV series. So a big thank you is in order to Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home. Let's see, what do we got? Today is September 8th. And what do we got for today besides Star Trek Day? International Literacy Day, Actors Day, National 401k Day. I told you guys, when I was a young person, I saw all of these jobs in the newspaper. Well, this is when newspapers, when you would read the sections, the classified sections of the newspaper, and it would be jobs. And for some reason, all these jobs, in my mind, they all started at 401k, $401,000 a year. I was like, holy shit! So many jobs pay so good. Now, why did they all start at 401k? I assumed it must have been a tax thing. That, like, 401,000 is the max you can make without paying some kind of penalty or something. So I assumed that was just a very popular starting salary. Okay, that's legit. That's what I really thought. And it wasn't until I was very close to graduating college did I realize. I mean, it wasn't that close, but it was close enough that it was embarrassingly late in life did I realize that 401k had nothing to do with salary and meant something completely different. It's National Ampersand Day, National David Day, National Dog Walker Appreciation Day, National Iguana Awareness Day, National Pediatric Hematology Oncology Nurses Day. Very, very specific. Our Lady of Meritzel Day, Pardon Day, pardon me. Stand Up to Cancer Day, Star Trek Day, it's there. It is there. Live long and prosper and binge on one of the world's best media franchises. World Literacy Day and World Physical Therapy Day. Quite a few days. Quite a few interesting days today. Dan Ben is in the house. Welcome, Dan Ben. Executive producer Saul Leibowitz says the Kids in the Hall. The Kids in the Hall song, These Are the Daves I Know, is the anthem of National David Day. Interesting. And executive producer Saul Leibowitz says, oh, and Kapla Berto Pray. Happy Friday. Live long and prosper. You too, executive producer Saul Leibowitz. So it looks like we're going to have a hurricane to deal with at some point. Already up to Category 5. It's currently north of the islands. It's not supposed to necessarily come to New York, but there is one spaghetti in the spaghetti model which has it coming over New York City. But that's a problem for next week. What else we got? Nothing too big here. Amazon is updating its Fire TV home screen. Star Trek 57's best Star Trek episodes across every series ranked. Well, a lot of series can be completely ignored. Let's see. 57, Way to Eden, Terra Prime, Kobayashi. What? Kobayashi is one of the best episodes of Prodigy. In fact, it is the best episode of Prodigy. Well, why would this be? Why would Way to Eden, a very shitty show, and I don't understand. The Way to Eden is maybe the worst, one of the worst episodes of the original series. This episode gets a lot of hate, but the fact is TOS is known for being very campy, and there's no episode more campier than this. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, I can't. I'm sorry. Goodbye. 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 There's nothing unbelievable. Can't be. Anyway. No, anyway. Okay, you know what? Back to the chat. Executive producer Sully Wood says, happy Friday. Live long and prosper. Matt G's got some coffee. Welcome, Matt G. Dave G says, long DM after your show. Long DM. Direct message. I'll take a look. Dan Benz is the new trailer for the upcoming video game Star Trek Infinite. Had something about Klingon culture you may like. Thank you, Dan and Ben. I'll take a look when I can. I really don't care so much for the games because I'm never going to play them. I'm not going to have time to play the games. Executive producer Saul Leibowitz says, there are the best episodes of STD, apparently. 47 Yorktown says, Canada celebrates Star Trek Day, but 2 days early. I thought it was 1 day early. Joseph Dredd says, and the children shall lead is the worst TOS episode. Maybe. And Gorilla says, what's this shit list? Gorilla is not even worth reading through. It doesn't deserve any publicity. I have struck it from the record. I'm not going to mention it again. So I'm sure there was some people disappointed with my Lower Decks review, mostly that it was a mere 6.5 or 7 minutes, as opposed to the 30 to 60 minutes I'm sure you were expecting. But as I was telling people, I just did not have the time nor the strength to do a review of that length yesterday. And frankly, I don't have the time to do a review or a stream of that length today either. But I did want to thank everybody for coming. I know this was a relatively short stream, but no, I do have to end it here. So thank you all for hanging out. I will try to be back to a regular stream length as soon as possible. I will be back around hopefully later today on other people's streams. I do hope you guys continue to hang out somewhere, and I will find you there. So Kapla all, see you soon. Bird out.